Fat Finger Daddy here. We're going to kick off with the next installment for me, the next crack at learning something about YouTube, posting through that, as well as using Tableau Public, Tableau Information to show you how you can use the tool to make different visualizations and charts. And I'm using the theme of the 2022 Formula One season to give us a structure, trace it through, help build up that story, hopefully make it a bit interesting for everyone. I've already loaded up the data. It's more or less formatted as before, just to make it a little bit easier as we don't want to see that through the next time. I've created a function, which we'll create again. I'm just going to show you this. This is the first race and the second race together, so that's the position of the constructors at the end of the second race. Let's go ahead and grab that up here and stick it up on our columns. Let's put our constructors down through here. We can see that somebody's pulled right ahead. I'm going to sort that in order because, of course, that's better to see what's going on. A couple of these teams don't have any points, so we're just going to go down and filter those away. We're going to hide those nulls. And we like the blues. We can see the distance. We can see really how far they've come ahead. We can see these two actually really quite close to each other and coming back. We're going to drag that over here onto color as well, give us a bit more. We're going to realize that these colors have kind of come out like a default, so Ferrari is definitely not a green team. In the future, we're going to go through and do something more to the colors, make them a bit nicer for us. But for now, let's go have a look at, it should have 20 different colors, should give us a choice. And of course, we'll want Ferrari. Let's make sure they're a good solid red. Aston Martin, Mercedes, we know they're kind of a green. Ferrari, Mercedes, we don't want pink. Gray is probably the closest we have for them. And of course our interesting Red Bull, we know they're going to kind of come in a blue. Williams likes to come in a blue. As Ferrari's kind of black, we'll have to give them that black one for now. Alpine, I think, is coming in pink. Red Bull, let's see if it will like red. Let's just leave that. We will apply those colors for now. Click OK. Mercedes has gone a bit dark. It's not quite silver. Red Bull is blue. Ferrari up here in red. This is what we have with the default. Let's work with that. We can see at least, we're getting some graduation in that. So in our first two races, we can see they've really pulled ahead. We'll go ahead and change that title. We'll give it a name up here. So ahead. Tight race for second. So that'll give us some context around the chart we're looking at. Right click on here. Just hide those field labels. We don't really need to see that they're there. I'm going to double click on that. Don't really need an axis title here, although it's usually a good practice. We can also call that points. And there it's pretty clear what we have. That's how we're doing in our constructors. Let's call that constructors and off we go. Super quick way. Again, just a little bar chart, a little bit of data and a function we've put together. But now we can start to see really, one team is ahead and boy, oh boy, are they getting ahead. But good race for one team and they can come back quickly this early in the season. Let's head over into sheet 2. Let's think about our drivers as well. We'll come over and see our drivers is not quite formatted itself just as well. So if you remember, we have some numbers here. So let's go ahead and convert that over to a measure. We're in the second race. We're going to want to convert that over to a measure as well. We now have our two measures, how we did in the first and second race. But as before, we want to see what has changed. So I'm just going to right click on that. Let's go ahead and create calculated field. Two races, and this is actually how we do it. So it's picked up the field that I was selected on. Square brackets 2. There we go. Very simple 1 plus 1, and that will give me the total for the two races. Let's go ahead and drag that over here onto the columns. Go ahead and drag Bahrain over there as well. We'll get two sets of charts for us now, showing the first race and the second race. We're interested in the drivers, so let's put that up onto rows for us. And then we've got something we can see. Now what I want to do here is actually put the two of them onto the same axis. I'm going to make this a dual axis for us. So I'm going to come click this little triangle. come down here to the menu and it's going to say dual axis. We'll go ahead and click that. It's going to put them together and turn this into dots for us. We'll change that in a minute. But here you can see at the top we've got a scale out to 25, down the bottom up to 45. We don't really want them to be different at this point. They're actually representing the same thing for our story. So I'm going to double click on this. Sorry, I'm going to single click on this. And it should give me this option here to synchronize axes. That'll make the top and the bottom the same values, and we'll be able to compare things a little bit better for it. Over here on the marks side, you've probably noticed now that there's one for all. There's one for our total in 2 races. There's one for Bahrain. That gives us a lot of flexibility in how we can see and shape things. We'll explore that in just a moment. Let's get rid of these dots. I think we're going to put this back into a bar. We want to see the 2 of those together. And of course we want to do the sort. This one should be first, your total in there. We'll click that sort button. That should give me, there we go, the clerk who's up ahead, science who's in second. And we've got a bit of overlap. And here actually you can even see how many you got in the first race, what took you to the second race. Colors we can play around with. So we're going to do a little bit more shaping on this. So we're going to come on down to the Bahrain one, the bottom one. We still have our bar. We see the size. So our sizes here. Let's go make that a little bit thinner. Well, we'll be a bit artistic with that. That way we see the main race, but we can see the contribution of the previous race for it. We may or may not agree with the colors, so I'm going to come back to that all. Let's go have a look at those colors. I like the blue. That stands out. That orange I find really quite bright. And our story, I think, here is, let's try a gray. Let's see what that does. So gray is a light color. We've got the bar. We've got the strength and the size of it. The blue light then shows us ultimately the contribution of the first race into the second. I think interesting for here is there's no contribution for Max Verstappen in the first race, yet here he is all the way up into third. Really powerful performance. He's really caught up, although he has some distance to go. So I think we've got 2 elements of our story. We're going to click on that. Let's just go hide some of these. We don't need that. We'll not show the header here. We'll hide this film as well. We can kind of tell it's the drivers. We'll give ourselves a title. Call it Max Comes Back. Double click on that. We know it's total in 2 races, but let's just call that points. We'll leave our chart like that. We've got a bit of our story. Let's come over here into our dashboard if you remember. We're now going to put these 2 things together. I'm going to go get a fixed size. We're not going to make it custom. We'll make it a nice little desktop browser. Good start for us now. We'll put some text across there. Drag our text bar in first. Alright, so I think we're ready. Alright, this is race 2. Let's go and make that a decent size. We'll put it up to 24. We like that to be a nice dark color. There we go. That's our title, but of course our title's not the important part. The important part really is that constructors, which we'll drag here on the bottom. Push that up to give us some size. Realize we've made a mistake in the spacing, so we'll quickly go back and fix that. And we want the other chart that's got our drivers over here. Now we've got our 2 charts. We've got our legends added for completeness, of course. We don't really need them today, so let's just get those out of here. We'll prefer to take the space. Let's get rid of that container. We'll look ahead at that. We've got a view. It looks not too bad. Looks not too bad. We've got a bit of space we could play with. So let's say we put some of our story text just up in here. What's our story? So our story, as we said, Ferrari start to pull away in the constructors. Max makes a win and puts himself up into 3rd place in one fell swoop. Stay tuned. Add a bit of a teaser to that. Go ahead and make that text a little bit bigger. 10's not bad. We'll make sure it's up in the dark color. Push OK. See, it's actually going on the top. Let's just go make that smaller. We don't need it to consume all of our space. We'd really rather the charts tell the story. Put that there, put that there. We've got our story, we've got that. Looks not bad. We can now come over to here, save it to Tableau Public. That'll publish it up to your Tableau Public website. People can see it, and you can continue to see the story. So, of course, go check out the Fat Finger Daddy Tableau Public site. You'll be able to see these as they evolve, and hopefully you'll continue to learn and be able to use them. That's it for me for this week. Look forward for another race. The races are coming. The charts are coming. I'm going to continue to learn how this YouTube thing works, and hope you'll continue to learn how you can do lots of things with Tableau as we go. Stay tuned.